Hello Marlborough, and welcome to another edition of Corner Office. I'm Ryan Malyar from WMCT-TV, and of course I'm joined by Mayor Arthur Vigeant. How's it going, Mayor?
Fantastic.
So as usual, we're just going to go through a few updates and see what's going on in the city.
Yep.
So I have to start off with a big one that's on everyone's mind. We had this bus strike.
Yeah.
So it's finally resolved. So in a nutshell, can you tell me what went on there?
That's why I canceled on you a couple times, because if I came during the bus strike, I would have been in an angry, foul mood.
And now we can come with good news
everything's
to report.
fantastic again. But no, we're finally back to work. Everyone's back to work. The contract is very similar to what was on the agreement before it started. I got disappointed in that, but both sides came together, both the union and NRT. Doug Diaz up at the schools was our point person. I look back on my phone for the last 5 days. I have 34 phone calls to him, and I think it was 18 text message conversations back and forth. So we were in contact most of the day yesterday, and just trying to figure out what we could do to get these kids back on the buses. It was like the first day of school. It's one of those only days that you don't get upset that you're behind the school bus. Most of the time, everyone's frustrated. Today, it was great to see kids getting on the bus and then kids getting off the bus. I went to a number of the schools this morning to make sure everything was working well. But I'm glad everyone's back to work.
But just to clarify, they weren't protesting against Marlborough or Marlborough Public Schools. It was their union against...
Right. Like most communities,
Yeah.
We outsource the buses. Some do their own, but we outsource it like most. And we actually, at the beginning of the year, November area timeframe, Doug and I sat down because we didn't want to be short bus drivers. There's a shortage everywhere. I asked Doug what we could do. He said we could pay more. This is what other communities are paying. So I said, what's the number? We came up with $34 an hour for the part-time bus drivers. I said, let's put that out there and make sure that we don't have a bus issue in the city of Marlborough.
Right.
Not expecting this to come up. So,
Has the city always outsourced this? Okay.
Yeah. Well, in my 30-year memory. But,
Sure.
Because it's just a business we're not in. Schools are in the business of educating kids, not of driving kids around. So
And maintaining a fleet of vehicles.
Right. So we're happy the bus drivers are back. Most of them are really, really good people that, really care about the kids. And it was an interesting few days. But we're happy they're back. We're happy that the Teamsters and NRT, we kept pushing, Doug kept pushing them together, keeping them, having discussions. And
They finally came to
an agreement. So we're thankful to both of them for doing that.
Right. So when I reached out to your team at your office about what we should talk about today, I got a 2-word response. It was the budget.
Yeah.
So that's going before City Council Finance Committee next week, correct?
Yeah, I sent it down last week, hit the council on Monday. John Irish, the finance chair, set up 2 nights at this point, Monday and Tuesday night, to go through any questions, concerns the councilors have. It's a good budget. We're in good financial shape. Obviously, this year with this budget, we're going to see a 0 increase for our health insurance for our employees. Mm-hmm. 0 health insurance increase. And we're going to see a 0 increase in the water sewer bills for all our residents. And we're also going to see a decrease or reduction in the tax levy to our residents, to our real estate taxpayers. Unheard of, but this budget will show a reduction in the tax levy. So we'll see actual, not rates going down, but actual bills going down.
Wow. But the budget overall has increased, and I imagine it increases every year because that's the way the economy goes. Yeah. And is it about a 5% increase?
About 4.5% increase.
Is that standard?
It's probably a little higher than we usually have. We had some things that did go up substantially, but it's a good budget, and we've funded some things that we hadn't funded in the past. Snow and ice is always something we underfunded, so I added $500,000 to that item. There's a couple new people really concerned about some of the issues that come up with police and fire and the Council on Aging and our veterans. So I added services for a contract social worker for the frontline person, not to do cases, not to do long-term cases, but to actually be the frontline people that'll meet residents that have some issues. Obviously, we have the new drug prevention officer that we're still looking to fill at this point, but that's in there, so that's another important position. We have the library.
What department
open.
will that drug prevention officer, is that health
Through
department?
the health department.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So the library, we have obviously we'll be opening that in the next month or two, and so we have some new staff up there, and so it's a really good budget. I'm sure the council has some questions. Hopefully we can answer all those for them, but we're going to see a decrease in the tax levy.
I see it on the agenda. 2 days of this, but it's such a big budget with so many departments. Yeah. It's only fair that it's going to take more than 30 minutes to get through it.
Because we have, we're communicating a lot between myself and the president and the finance chair and other councilors. It used to go a lot longer than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when the old finance chair was there, before he was president, before he was mayor, Councilor Vigeant used to have long budget sessions.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a pain in the neck.
Well, spring is here. We're almost in the summer, and the city is looking great thanks to the DPW.
They do a good job.
They do such a great job. But there's, I'm reading about the city Adopt a Space program. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So there's actually two programs. I started the first one back in the mid-'90s when I was a city councilor. You actually don't pay anything. You adopt an island or a small area, hopefully in your neighborhood or something, where you kind of maintain it. Mm-hmm. And we put up a sign with your organization or your family's name there, and you just maintain it for the summer. You plant it.
So you commit to it. It's going to come out of your pocket or your organization, and it's to beautify the city and take some pride. And then you get that little signage there, so you can say, yeah, that's my corner right there.
Another incentive to keep it in good shape. Then we have the Barrow program downtown.
That's the Adopt a Planter program?
Yeah, so you pay $100 toward the setting up of that, but we maintain it, the city maintains it.
Oh, so two different options?
Exactly.
If you have a green thumb, maybe you go for the first one, and the thumb's not so green, the city will maintain it for you. Do you still get signage on it?
You still get signage on it, so we'll still give you a little bit of credit for donating the $100. So we appreciate everyone getting involved. It's a small amount, but it makes a huge difference.
Some other big news is Moderna. Everyone's talking about Moderna.
Yeah.
And City Council just approved a TIF, a tax increment financing. For our viewers who aren't familiar with what a TIF is, what is this incentive?
So it's an incentive on future taxes, not on anything they're paying today. It's on future growth, future additions to the building. So what they have to do is do an investment of so much money into the building, and Moderna is going to put a boatload of money into it, hundreds of millions of dollars into the property. And then they also have to bring so many jobs to the city. In Moderna's case, we went with a number of 200. We're expecting it to be closer to 250, but they'll be bringing 200 jobs. In one of the brand new buildings that were built, we were told when they were started by some of the people outside the city and some of the brokers, no one's building spec buildings today, which means a building that doesn't have a tenant or anything. They just build it and hope they get a tenant.
Wow.
Moderna's taken one of those two buildings that are in the city of Marlborough, and we're excited. It's brand new.
With the specificity of the work they're doing, that's why they have to build it out so much.
They're going to add 60,000 square feet. It's a 140,000 square foot building. They're going to add 60,000 square feet within the current footprint before they get in there.
So with the TIF, we know what the property is valued at. So they'll be taxed at that, but then there's sort of a
reduction on future taxes.
So all this other work they're going to do on it, it'll be sort of pushed back for a little bit.
So in addition, if they don't either make the investment or bring the employees in, we have a clause in there that I put in probably around 2000 that reduces their benefit. So if we offer a 50% TIF, for the year, and they're supposed to have 200 new jobs. If they only have 100 new jobs, they only get half of that 50%. They get 25%. If they fall below a certain amount as to what they promised us originally, that we're going to start in the building, they get nothing. We won't decertify them, but they get nothing.
It's still an attractive offer to bring them in and bring another great industry
Absolutely.
into the city.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're looking forward at June, and there's the Senior Beach Barbecue, which is happening on June 8th. And this is something, you light up right away when I said it, this is something that you started a while back, right?
Actually, it's only been a few years, I think 3-4 years now, where we're trying to do something a little bit different. At the end of COVID, people were still a little nervous about going inside, came up with this beach party idea, and it's been great. The seniors have been coming down. Bob Kays will come down and cook some hamburgers and hot dogs.
You have music, right?
The flashbacks coming back again, so it's a great day down there for the seniors. Really,
is it free for the seniors, or do they have to pay?
No, we pay for that.
Wonderful, what a great offering.
Yeah.
And of course, WMCT, we go down and cover it every year.
Great.
It's a good excuse for us to get out of the office too. And
you sit at the beach, you put your tanning lotion on, your bathing suit, and you're there.
Yep, listen to Flashback and have a great time. So like I spoke about in our last interview, knowing that your retirement is coming, we still got plenty of time, of course, but I wanted to just take a moment today to have a little bit more of a retrospective. And I was curious about who are some of your mentors or your biggest supporters that you've had during your time as mayor?
Well, this is funny because it's been asked before, but I always found that you can pull little pieces of personalities and ways of doing things from everybody. People that are successful and people that aren't successful. You see how people do, something you do really, really good, and something someone else does really, really bad. Maybe two completely different things. So I tried to grab little informations and bits and pieces from different people that have a different strategy on how to get different things done. Because we all...
There are many ways to get from point A to point B.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes what you made successful here doesn't work across the street.
Right.
So you may try it and stumble. So I think really to answer that, it's been... I can't tell you how many people, 1,000 people that, you grab little tidbits from and you say, you know what, that seems to work, or I'm not crossing that line because it's a bad avenue to go down. So, it just, the former mayors and the mayors that I meet with monthly for a mayor's meeting, I can't tell you how much information I've pulled from them over the years. And again, it's the Mike McGlynn's and the Dee Mazzarellas that have been there forever. And it's the new guy that just walked in, or the new woman that just walked in and talks about something. It's like, we can do that. So you just sit, lunches are great. I love hearing the speeches that we hear when we go. We hear secretaries or different secretaries at the State House or whoever. But when we sit at lunch and just start rapping, that's when the good stuff comes out.
Right, all that brainstorming.
Right.
How about your family? Were they supportive when you made that decision to dive into politics? What did your wife think of that?
Well, I can tell you, when you dive in, everyone's behind you. It's the greatest thing in the world. The whole family's there. They're making signs. Back when we started, they were making wooden signs, and going out with a big post to make a hole in the ground and bang the sign in, and people yelling at you. You hit my water line in the front, and it just. And then it kind of weans away as you've been in it a few years. I've had a number of my family move to New Hampshire. Some of them are just tired of holding signs and making signs.
Sure.
And so it definitely weans away. I've been fortunate. I haven't had a big campaign. I've had some core people that I talk to on a regular basis, whether it's to have a fundraiser or whether it's just to bounce an idea off of. But my family, has been there. My wife, my kids, they've been there since the beginning. Now grandkids. Last election, they were out there holding signs. So they've been there since the beginning, but now I kind of have to pull them out there kicking and screaming.
Is there anyone else who's been really steadfast in your court the whole way through? Someone who's just been Go Vigeant.
You know, I don't know about Go Vigeant, but Trish has been by my side for, 12 years now, through thick and thin. She started out.
For those who don't know who Trish is.
Trish Bernard is my right-hand man. She was my admin for a number of years. I went through a couple of different chief of staffs, and finally the last time it's like, why don't you just step it up and take that? So she's been doing it for a few years now. Mike Berry and Trish started with me back 12 years ago. Mike went on to work at the State House again. He was from the State House. I ended up with Nick Milano, and he did a great job for me. Now he's a town manager.
Wow.
So we've had a good core group, but Trish has been there for the 12 years. And when I don't sleep at night because of an issue, she doesn't sleep at night because of an issue.
Oh, when something's happening, I get a text from Trish too. I know that she's up bright and early or late into the evening, just like you are.
No, so she's looking forward to the end so she can actually get a good night's sleep. So, but she's been there with me since the beginning, and I was fortunate. I had Karen Bully down in the council office for the 18 years I was down there, and she was I was completely green when I started there. I didn't even know I had a meeting coming up, and she's the one that called me and said, "Are you coming over here?" And I said, "For what?" She said, "You have a mailbox here and it's full, and you have a meeting Monday night." So I go, "Oh, okay."
Oh, this is how this works.
This is how this works, because I didn't know. I was, Mike Hogan convinced me to do it, and then he moved on to the State House. So he wasn't around, and she kind of held my hand for 18 years.
Wow.
So.
Well, I know you've got a busy day. You're heading into Boston later. Lots going on. So thanks for stopping by again.
Thank you.
We'll do it again next month.
Great.
That brings us to the end of another episode of Corner Office. Thanks for watching, and like I said, we'll be back next month with another fresh episode with Mayor Arthur Vigeant. Take care.